You can see me now, right? Can you see me?
Bluetooth mode.
Okay, so what's happening? Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I'd like to know. Good evening, everybody. Hello, everyone. Could you see me? Could you drop a comment if you can see me? I welcome you all to Gric Convention 2023. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, everyone. We just wait for everyone to come in. Let me invite every other guest. Okay, so I really okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. If you can actually hear me, you can drop a comment. I'd like to welcome you to Gric Convention 2023. Okay. Hello, Hadassah.
Hello, ma'am. How are you this evening?
I'm good. Good evening. Welcome to Gric Convention.
Yeah, thank you so much. I couldn't join with my phone,
So,
so I have to just transfer to my laptop. I guess there is an issue with StreamYard and iPhone, so it's requesting me to just register all over, and I think that's going to take time. So I have to use my laptop. I hope it's
oh,
clear enough.
really?
Excuse
Okay,
me.
so we can actually see you.
Please hold on. Okay, I
People
think
are
we are
out
good.
there, but
Yeah, we're good. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello, Ma, you are audible. We can hear you clearly. Good evening, Ma. How are you doing today? So, good evening, everyone. So, Mama Dasa, you can go on with your moderating activities. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Greek Convention 2023, which our team says igniting nobility for global influence. So, as we wait on our speakers and our moderators to start coming in, kindly drop your fire comments, drop your comments. What do you look forward to gain from this convention? What are the things you look forward to gain? You can just drop them in the comment section. We're actually in the comment section and taking your feedbacks. You join this convention. What is your expectation? What are your expectations? What do you plan to gain from this convention? So as we do that, we'll be waiting for our speakers to join us on. My name is Aonis Topwe, and I wait to celebrate you. Thank you.
We're so sorry about the fixing. So sorry. We're using a third party, so it's expected that the initial stage will be having all these ups and downs, but I'm sure we're going to be rolling very fast. Okay. So I'd like to welcome everyone to Gric Convention 2023. I'm particularly excited about this, and I have worked all nights, all days, all weeks, all months, just to make sure that this has become a reality. Thank you, everyone that is joining us today. Today is Friday, and we're doing this convention for 2 days. So I want to believe that you are properly set the way I am. Okay. I think we're having a little bit of network freezing. Wow. Okay. So I wish I could see everyone's comments. Can you all see? Can you hear me? I'd like to know what's going on. Can you all see me? Can you hear me? I'd like to know what's going on. But then, Adasa, if you can join back, you are the moderator for today. So I'd like to know that you're here present, so I could just do what I need to do. All right, all right. Are you settled now?
Yes, I'm set.
All right. So we should ride on now, because I'm sure our speaker should be standing by, and so that I could just do what I need to do. Okay. I really don't know if you can see comments right now. Temitope, if you're just at the back end, could you please check the comments and be sure that it's open for all, so we can see people's comments. We need to have people responding to the coordinator. The anchor needs to get them engaged. So we need to run together. So Temitope, please check behind the scene, check if the comment, if everyone is allowed to make comments. I'd like to know that, please. So that we can ride on immediately. We've already wasted 14 minutes, but it's okay. It mostly happens when we pop up like this.
Everyone's allowed to comment. Everyone's allowed.
All right. All right. So how do we see? We need to get to see their comments. We need to see their comments. So the Hadassah, please, you need to engage your audience. Just encourage them to make comments and to flow with you. All right, I can see that now. All right, please take over, Hadassah.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're watching from. And I'm really so excited about the very first day of this convention. So, Kike David, you're welcome. I can see you. I want to see Temitope. Glad to have you here. You're very much welcome on board. I want to see Temitope. Okay, I can also see your comments. I can see your comments, although I can't see your face. Adiola, you're welcome. You're very much welcome. Okay, so it's the first day, and it's really value packed. I can assure you, Mrs. Robson and team, they've put in a whole lot to make today value packed. Oh my God, you need to see the list of the speakers we have. I'm sure you can't wait to hear what they have to offer. Okay, so one thing I would like you to do, okay, normally whenever I attend a convention or any seminar, I always have goals written down to know exactly what my take home would be. Okay, it's really very important. So I would want you to do that. Okay, so if you can hear me, I can see most of you typing, I can see you. If you can also see me, can you say hi? Just type I there. I want to be sure everybody can hear me, okay? Just type I if you can hear me clearly, please. Please, I'm waiting for you to do that. Just type I, H-I, if you can hear me clearly. It's really very important to hear me so that, we can carry one another along. So if you can hear me, can you please type I, hi. I'm waiting. Okay, thank you very much. I want to see Temitope. I'm glad you can hear me. Okay, I'm waiting for more. Okay, while you type your I would also like you to just show me with an emoji. Thank you very much, Salome David. You're very much welcome on board. I'd like to see how excited you are about tonight, the first day of Gric Convention. Trust me, there is a whole lot to be taken home, and we are so privileged to be part of this. Usually this should be the kind of convention we'll be paying. Okay, JK inspires. Thank you very much. I'm glad you can hear me. Okay, without wasting much time, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker for tonight. Our keynote speaker for tonight. Can I hear you say yay if you want to really know who the speaker is? Or probably you have an idea already. Okay, so our first speaker, we'll be talking about how to ignite nobility for global influence. I'm going to take that again. How to ignite nobility for global influence. Now, the speaker is no other person. I need to clear my throat to introduce this amiable personality. While I was going through his profile, I was like, oh my God, Adasa, what have you done with your life? Like, you need to do much more. The kind of people that when you go through their profile and you see how much they've achieved, it's going to set you on pace. No, I'm not saying you should compete or you shouldn't be happy with your achievement. But there's a way it sets you on pace, and you know that you are meant for more. You want to do much more with your life. That was exactly how I felt when I went through the profile topic I'm about to introduce to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Nath Abraham Najo. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Mr. Nath Mark Abraham in Najo. Now I'm going to read his profile briefly. It's a whole lot, so I'm just going to read part of it. Now, Mr. Nat Mark Abraham in Najo is an accredited international airport professional. He was the principal partner of Mark Abrahams Limited, a CMD certified management training institution. He holds both the bachelor and master degrees in English language and an MBA in management, majoring in human resource management. Registered management consultant. He's also a member of Nigerian Institute of Management. He's chartered and served as the Human Resource Committee of the Airport Council International. He is a much sought after expert in soft skills with special interest in emotional intelligence, strategic, organizational, and personal communication, whose clientele includes banking and finance. I would like you to take notes: banking and finance, oil and gas, telecommunications, and the public service. Oh my God. In addition to being a first in class CMD certified management trainer of Nigeria, Mr. Nath is also an author and conference speaker. His professional experience gathered within and outside Nigeria spans journalism, marketing research, university teaching, and management training. He also has held private training sessions with high net worth business and political leaders in Nigeria on public speaking, leadership, and interpersonal skills. So he is a seasoned facilitator with over 30 good years of work experience and has also attended over 30 international conferences. I'm sure you're like, wow, and seminars on different aspects of general management, human capacity development, and aviation operations held in 28 countries. Now, over the course of his career, he has gained so many professional certifications, which are a long list. I can't start mentioning them now, honestly, it's so long. And it has so many publications. So Mr. Nat has personally trained over 600,000 professionals across all sectors and cadres of Nigerian economy. He has been on the faculties of, CFAO Training Center, Lagos, NEPA, FAN, mention all the great companies you can think of in the country and outside. So more details about Mr. Nat can be found on his website, which is www.markabrahams.com. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I would like you, with your favorites and your best emojis in the comment section, help me welcome our first speaker, who is also the keynote speaker for tonight, Mr. Nath Abraham in Najo. Mr. Nath Abraham, we are so glad to have you on board. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Gloria, and thanks
That's
for inviting me to be part of this event. Um, I wouldn't know if I would have to, if I have the privilege of sharing my screen. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with this platform.
Okay. Temitope, will you help with that?
Okay, you can share your screen, sir. Just click on the present button at your back
Okay,
end.
I've put that share screen. Um, okay, just trying to get the window. Okay, all right. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir, we
Okay,
can
yeah,
see
there
your
it
screen.
is.
We can see your screen very clearly.
All right. Thank you so very much, Gloria Watson, for the privilege to be part of this, and to every other person who has taken the time to to join us tonight. Okay, so my name is Nath, and we'll speak very briefly on how to ignite nobility for global influence. And typically, when I have the privilege of interacting with an audience such as this, I try to clarify a few thoughts and words so that we can all be on the same page, on the same platform. We have a common core of understanding. So, one of the first things I'd like to clarify, sorry, I don't know why the slides are not moving. Um, sorry, this is a new platform for me, so I'm also still trying to learn how it works. But did I hear somebody go by the name Timmy Tokwe? How do you get these slides to move? Okay, good. So there we are. I think I'm a fast learner. So in looking at the subject matter I'm supposed to look at, it talks about how to ignite um, nobility for global influence. So I want to look at three keywords from that: ignite, nobility, and influence. And the word ignite naturally is an English word that means to start a fire, to set a blaze, to heat up the temperature. But I want to look at it from the perspective of starting a fire. When you start a fire, it doesn't matter how small it is. A lot depends on the environmental conditions, whether that will determine whether the fire grows or it dies. It will also determine the scope to which this fire grows. I was born and raised in the northern part of Nigeria, and I have seen a lot of bushfires. I understand what bushfires are. A very small spark that you perhaps thought did not matter or was nothing could actually set a whole town ablaze if it is not well managed. So, especially in the middle of the Hamatan, when the grass is dry and you have a lot of dry grass there because the climate there, we say it's savanna or something like that, have a lot of this dry grass there. So, with a very little fire, with the winds of the Hamatan fanning that fire, it can actually become a towering inferno. If it's not well managed, it can actually become a major issue. And if you go to parts of the world like Australia, where they contend with bushfires, sometimes it is just a spark in a forest that will make a whole forest burn down and kill a lot of firefighters and make whole communities homeless. So don't joke with that little word ignite. So when we're talking about igniting something this evening, we're looking at something that may start small in your own estimation, but it has the potential to grow and become very, very big. And so when we're thinking about igniting nobility, in the course of my presentation, I'll share with you a few thoughts on how to ignite this um, this word and make it a lifestyle so that as you continue to fan and nurture it, you can attain global relevance. The second word is nobility. The root word, of course, is noble. That means to have superior character, superior qualities, superior behavior. And often it is associated with royalty and people of affluence. And that is because with royalty, you find that even from when they are babies, they are taught how to speak, how to walk, how to eat, how to shake hands, how to interact with people. When the queen died, we had a little peek into the way the royal family worked backstage. And one of the documentaries I watched during that period talked about how the rural children were raised from childhood to know that they were different. And so they could not laugh anyhow like commoners, they could not dress anyhow and all of that. Of course, when they were home, they were allowed to let their head down a little bit. But one thing that stood out about Queen Elizabeth from one of the comments made in commentary was even in that informal setting, when the children were supposed to be allowed to be children, she still insisted on certain behavior so that this behavior became a part of their natural manifestation wherever they found themselves. So they didn't really need to switch roles. Oh, I'm in the public now, I need to behave with nobility. And then I go home, I can behave like a commoner. When they had imbibed this, whether they were home or they were out, it was the same. In other words, they had integrity, And there was a movie I watched once. I think it was called The Man Behind the Mask or something like that. I love those old medieval movies where there's a lot of swords and arrows and shootings and fighting. Those are the kind of movies that excite me. And that movie was brothers were twins. One could only ascend to the throne, so they took the other one and hid him in a village. For many years, but the one who was left to be king became a very bad king, very mean guy. So at some point, the kingmakers decided to bring the twin in the village, kidnap the bad guy, and substitute him with his twin brother, and they look absolutely identical, But the one in the village did not grow as a noble, so he did not have the mannerisms, the characteristics, and so they had to begin to teach him how to walk, how to ride his horse. And one thing that struck me was they even told him how to hold his glass of wine and that he had to touch it as little as possible because the servants would have touched the glass. And of course, royalty shouldn't touch the same thing that commoners touch, except it was absolutely necessary. So what am I saying here? Some people are born into nobility. Others have to learn it. And the important thing is that it's something you can learn. So even if you're not born into a noble family, you're not born into royalty, you can learn to be a noble. And we'll look at a few things we can do to help us do that. And then the third thing is the word influence, which means having an impact to direct or redirect a people or a cause of action. And basically, there are two ways to influence people: hierarchically, by virtue of your position. So if you are in an African family, for instance, if you are the firstborn and you were speaking to the lastborn who is like 6 children in between you, if you tell that lastborn jump, hey, he's going to jump because you have influence, you have authority as a firstborn. In the military, if you're a senior officer, if you gave a command to a junior officer, he didn't need to ask questions, he was going to obey you. And in most corporate organizations we have in Nigeria, that's the same thing. The structure is hierarchical. So by virtue of your position in the pecking order, you had influence over people who were beneath you, generally. Sometimes limited influence with people above you. Okay? But the world over the past 20, 25 years has been moving away from this hierarchical order in organizations to the flat organization where you don't have one CEO who is up there, and from the CEO to the bottom floor or the shop floor, you have like 15 different layers. So we have flat organizations where the CEO is in the center, and around the CEO, you have people who have access to the CEO. And maybe 1 or 2 steps removed from the CEO. They can walk in and share their thoughts and ideas, and they can attempt to influence the CEO. So what has this got to do with influence? It's better to learn the skills that will help you to influence people in a flat organization than in a hierarchical organization. Your influencing skills are much more important in a flat organization. And I'll come back to this in a bit. So you would notice that in flat organizations, a lot has to do with bonding with your teammates, persuading them to see things from your perspective, getting their buy-in if you want them to join you on any project or assignment, or to change their behavior or attitude, whatever it is you are thinking about influencing them on, you cannot force it on them. Okay, unlike the hierarchical system where you just get a memo or a directive, do this, and that's it. Jump, you ask how high. Okay, but in a flat organization, you need to engage more with people, and their influence becomes imperative. So, talking about global influence, we're looking at combining these three things, starting something small, but working on it to grow it so that it spreads. And so the people you're able to have an impact on would be global. And now I'm not too concerned about the fact that you may not be able to interact with people globally in person. The digital age we find ourselves in has also given us that opportunity to be able to influence people even from the little corners we find ourselves. We can do this digitally. So now let's see, how do you ignite this nobility? Number one, through training. That is almost a no-brainer. Like I said earlier, some persons are born into nobility, others are not. But you will notice that even for those who were born into nobility, they had to be trained to behave as nobles. Now, so let's spend a few minutes to look at the behavior we're looking at here. First, let's talk about the attitude of nobles. They are considerate, they are empathetic, they are good listeners, okay? And they are interested in supporting other people to succeed. So when they also find themselves in teams, they do everything to ensure that their team succeeds. So these are the attributes we see in terms of their behavior and attitude, their perspective on life. They are more about collaboration than competition. Okay, now in terms of how they speak, whatever language they decide to use, they make an effort to speak it well. And that's why you find that globally, when we speak the English language, we all aspire to speak the Queen's English. Of course, I do not know what happens now that we have a king in England, but you know, the variety of the English language that is spoken within the court is what we all aspire for. So there's a particular way nobility speaks, and you need to learn it. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So training is required. Then, in terms of dressing, they dress in a particular way. They keep an eye on fashionable trends, but they also know when it is important to err on the side of the conservative. So you find that their dressing is not outlandish, their dressing doesn't draw unnecessary attention, but their dressing commands respect. And these are part of the things I'm sure Mrs. Robson teaches on, how to dress to present yourself in the best way. So training is important if you are to be a noble. Number two, coaching and mentoring, of course. Coaching can help you. You can engage a private coach, like the nobles I was talking about. They actually coach through this process. There are people in the courts of the king, all their lives, all they had done was to train one generation of nobles after the other. They train the king, they train his sons, they train his grandsons. That's all they do. So they are experts in this field because they themselves carry themselves with nobility. I remember watching a movie once, and the butler came into the room to serve some people. Everything about his carriage was aristocratic. You would have thought he was the king himself. The way he carried himself, the way he spoke to these people, and they were surprised when they got to know he was the butler. But the point I'm making here is, over the years, having been responsible for training young princes and princesses on how to comport themselves at the dining table and all that, he himself has to be an embodiment of those virtues. And that way it was easy for him to train, because he not only said it to them, they could also see him living those virtues. Okay, so coaching is important. Number three, imitation. I know some people, that word has had some bad press. People don't like imitation, especially in an age where China is imitating everybody, even threatening to clone us all. When you talk about imitation, people don't really like that word. But the truth of the matter is that you can actually improve on your nobility by imitating others. You can have role models. I know at some point a lot of young ladies were trying to pattern their lives after, was this actress named Joker Silva, I think. They admired the way she carried herself, the way she spoke. There's nothing wrong in that. Okay, you can imitate your way until it becomes a part of you. I remember when I was an undergraduate, um, in those days, I went to a public university for my first degree. The assumption then was the more intelligent a lecturer was, the more unkempt or untidy he was. So you found lecturers who did not comb their hair, whose shirt collars were dirty, who tucked in and one part of the shirt was sticking out, because the impression they tried to convey to you was that they were so busy thinking about important things, they didn't have time for mundane things like dressing. And we generally accepted that was the norm. You hardly saw a university lecturer who actually dressed properly. And then one day, we sat in class after the first semester in year one, and this handsome young man walked into our classroom in a shirt and a tie. Clean shirt, nice tie. He didn't have a suit on. But I think all through my first semester, I never saw any lecturer in a shirt and tie. And those that had shirts, their shirts were dirty. And here was a guy with clean, I think I remember the shirt was pink, you know, and a tie. And I was like, my goodness, is this a lecturer? And he taught us. And much later, we got to know all through, he would always either wear a shirt and tie or a suit, shirt and tie. He had just returned to Nigeria from the UK, where he went to earn his doctorate. He was single. It was a little surprise that he married one of my classmates eventually. He actually married one of my classmates, you know. So, I'm not surprised he was attracted to him because he looked different from other lecturers. So, when I became a university lecturer myself, I used to dress like that. He was my first influence. Then when I took my master's from Unilag, we had one of our lecturers. He just came back from Abuja where he had a Babangida appointment. We called it Babangida appointment then. He came back in our second semester too. And this guy walked into our class in a very well-made suit and tie, and he looked like any bank CEO. And I'm like, oh, is this guy in the wrong place? They said, oh, this is the professor we've been talking about. He's to take you on, blah, blah, blah. And from that moment, I'm like, this is what I want to look like, even if I become a lecturer. And so when I became a lecturer, I used to dress that way. And I remember one day, one of my students said to me, sir, you dress so well that I wonder if you belong in this environment, you know? But what am I telling you these stories for? I was imitating those lecturers. And soon, even my students could see it. And believe it or not, it influenced the way my students would dress to class, because I'll always say to them, because it was a department of English, I'll say to them that you are nobles, you're studying an aristocratic course. You must behave like ladies and gentlemen, and you must dress like ladies and gentlemen. So when you came to my department then, and fortunately I was the head of department, so I could actually influence both from the hierarchical perspective and from that other perspective. So you found my students were the best dressed on campus in terms of civility, in terms of decency, and all of that. So you can actually do that through imitation. And then having been trained, having been coached, and you're imitating somebody, put these things to practice. Practice them wherever you have the opportunity. That way they become a natural part of you. Now, I can tell you this, that I grew up in a rather poor home. We didn't have a dining table in the home in which I grew up in. So when you were served your food, you either sat on the floor or you sat on a chair and put the plate on your knee or whatever. However, in fact, sometimes you ate standing. So my first job after I graduated, I was a journalist covering the oil and gas industries. And in those days, we had a minister for petroleum called Professor Jubril Aminu. I think he's alive somewhere, pretty old now. At some point, he was also the minister for education. One thing Professor Jubril Aminu loved was dinner parties. So if he traveled abroad for an official meeting, if he came back on Friday evening, there will be a dinner party on that Friday evening. If he came back too late on Friday evening, there will be a dinner party on Saturday. So now here I had never used cutlery. And then I'll go for dinner parties. And you see an array of cutlery to your left and to your right. And you're wondering, which one do I take? Which one do I use? So it was such a dilemma. Many times I would just go for the bare necessities. Pick a fork and eat a little bit. and I'll go back home, I'll be very frustrated. Look at all the good food. Eco Hotel, Federal Palace Hotel, all the big hotels in Lagos. I couldn't eat because I didn't want to expose the fact that I was one bush boy from Kaduna. So I began to read up how to use cutlery. I began to read up how to use cutlery. And then I said to my wife, I said, look, when you serve me food, serve me with a fork and a knife. Don't serve, whether it is semovita, gari, just give me cutlery. So in my home, I began to practice how to use cutlery. And up till now, the only we call it swallow in Nigeria. The only swallow I would use my fingers for would be pounded yam. Any other thing I use my cutlery. And I practice how to eat chicken in my home, so much so that I can literally eat a whole chicken with a fork and knife, and there will be no strand of flesh on the bones. And I would crack the bones and suck the marrow without using my fingers. I would practice at home. I remember visiting a friend of mine in Owerri about 2 years ago. She's the equivalent of a commissioner of police with the civil defense. We were classmates for a master's program. And she served me some fried rice and dodo when I visited her. And I was wearing white native attire. So I had the tray on my knee and I was eating with the cutlery. And I ate the chicken. And at some point when I was done, she called her daughter and she said, I have been waiting for when Nath would stain his white cloth, and have said, good for you. You are trying to do Englishman in my house. He said, but look at the plate. He's eating everything, including the chicken, and not a stain on his white attire. She was rather disappointed. But it came from years of practice much earlier. And so what I'm telling you this, I'm telling you this so they can know that whatever the aspect, whether it's dinner etiquette or dining etiquette, office etiquette, business etiquette, you can learn all these. You can practice them until they become second nature to you. So practice is important. Now, as I was thinking about this presentation, a few thoughts occurred to me and I captured them there. While not all who are born into nobility are noble, all who aspire for nobility can be noble. So it doesn't matter where you're starting from. I told you my story so that you can understand that, look, there's nothing fantastic about this. And by the grace of God, I've interacted with the high echelons. I think the only person I've not interacted with one-on-one in terms of the hierarchy in this country is Mr. President himself. I've had the privilege of interacting with 3 sitting governors, training a whole state government, training First Lady and all the female political appointees in Cross River State in 2005. And I remember training them on dinner etiquette. When it was time for lunch the next day, I was taking a phone call. They had all been served. When I turned to go take my seat so I could have my lunch, I noticed not a single person had started eating. I mean, they had been served about 10, 15 minutes earlier. And I was surprised. I'm like, why are you not eating? And they're like, no way. We were waiting for you to start eating. So when you pick any cutlery, we'll pick it. Nobody wants to expose their ignorance here. And I had a good laugh. I'm like, please feel free, relax and eat. Today I don't feel intimidated in any social context because I've been able to imbibe a lot of these values in terms of dressing, in terms of speaking, in terms of interacting with people from different cultures. In the course of reading my profile, I heard Gloria talk about the fact that I've been to about 28 countries. That's true. In all the major continents of the world, whether it's interacting with Asians, Americans, Europeans, I've learned all the social traditions and the culture that would facilitate relationship within these people or among these people. So it's something you can do yourself if you would put your mind to it. So whether you were born into nobility or not, if you aspire for nobility, you can be noble. Then I also stated that it is not a bad thing to imitate a good thing. That thought also occurred to me when I was thinking about the bullet point I looked at earlier about imitation. It is not a bad thing to imitate a good thing. So when you see a person who speaks well or who dresses well or who carries themselves with some dignity, you can begin to model your own life after that person. And of course, don't forget to allow your individuality to shine through so that you don't look like a copycat 100%, So when people see you, they can see aspects of, oh, I can see he walks like this, he talks like that. And then in all of this, they can still see your natural personality shining through. So when we put all this together, we are now positioned for global influence. So whatever global environment you find yourself in, whether in person or online, you're not afraid that you're going to commit certain social blunders that will strain the relationships you are just contracting. When you're dealing with the Asians, you understand where they're coming from, the dress codes, the interaction that is acceptable, and all of that. When you need to eat with them, just get on YouTube. You'll learn how to use the chopsticks if that is important for you to learn. So when you combine all this, then you would have imbibed all you need to make an impact on the global scene. I'm sure in the rest of this convention, other speakers will come to add value um, to you. They will build on this foundation and expand on some of the things I've said. And I truly appreciate your time and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. Really appreciate, and we've deeply learned a lot. So if you are joining, kindly share your comment on the things you've learned so far. What are the things you've learned so far, and share with us. Share with us the things you've learned so far. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much, Mr. Nat. Thank you so much, Mr. Nat. That was really value packed. Oh my God, I learned a lot. I was just here jotting down a few things as a take home. All right, Temitope already mentioned it. So if there is anything significant you've been able to pick from what Mr. Nat has taught us tonight, I would like you to put it on the comment section. I want to be sure that we are all, together. And of course, let's say a very big thank you to Mr. Nat. Let's say thank you to Mr. Nat. Can you please say thank you to Mr. Nat for that value packed session? And of course, okay, Muradike, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Samayodele. So type your thank you. He's reading currently. He can see your thank you, and I'm sure he appreciates it. Now, I particularly learned this few things, how to ignite nobility. I like the fact that sometimes when you're waiting to be trained, when you're waiting to learn something, there are some things that'll be brooding in your mind. That could it be this, could it be that? And I love the fact that Mr. Nat mentioned most of these things. To be able to stand before kings is not rice and beans. Let me put it that way. It takes a whole lot. You may have all the skills in the whole world, but if you're not well polished, if you don't have what it takes to ignite nobility, then some opportunities may never come your way. Because even if they come your way, okay, being empathic, being attentive, being supportive, okay, they are more about collaboration than competition. As nobles, you don't compete, you collaborate instead, okay. And I also like the fact that it said it is not a bad thing to imitate a good thing, okay. In our world today, when someone does something, you hear people say, no, I'm not going to do that because somebody has done it. Who told you you can't do that? You can do your own even in a better way. So I hope we've learned so much from that. Thank you so much for that value pack session. I wish Mr. Nat could go on and on, but I know we have to give other speakers the opportunity to come on board. Now, there was something we were supposed to do before Mr. Nat came up. I guess because I was particularly so excited to hear from Mr. Nat. So, so pardon me, please. I don't that. Okay, of course. Honor, they say, must be given to whom it is due. I would like us to welcome, the beautiful personality that has thought it wise to put this convention together, and she's the one I want to introduce and bring up for our welcome right now, because I'm sure she has something to say to every one of us who has made it to the first day of this convention. Now, I'm talking about no other person than Mrs. Gloria Robson, She's the CEO, Parkway Consulting, with special attention on Parkway Finishing School. A refinery where personal and corporate brands are polished and refined for global relevance. Now, this is one woman I respect and I admire so much. And apart from the fact that she's beautiful, you see her and you just know that, oh, this is a polished woman. This is a well-refined woman. So it is not surprised that she has been able to put this together, So, and she's also a multiple award winner. She's a certified etiquette and image consultant who has groomed and polished thousands of brands across the globe. Of course, you may not know, I'm sure some of you know already, that she's an author of life transforming books that are worthy of note. It's Distinguished Ladies and Gentlemen. I think that's the title of the book. She is married, of course. So in case you're thinking that, oh, this beautiful woman, can I ask her? No, ask her. Mrs. Gloria Robson is taken, okay? She is married to Pastor Robson, and their marriage is blessed with 3 kids, 3 beautiful kids. So I know we are not live. I would have asked you to just pay attention to Mrs. Robson. So wherever you are, just type your emoji and welcome Mrs. Gloria Robson for our welcome speech. Mrs. Gloria Robson, we're glad to have you on board.
Thank you so very much, Hadassah. Thank you so much, Pretty Hadassah, the anchor of the day. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you everyone for showing up today. I'm really very excited that you are able to make it today. For those of you who have been with me, you've seen all the things that we've done to put this together. It's not been easy. Though people who are not in the back end may take it very easy, but it's not easy. So thank you so much, everyone. I am particularly excited to be welcoming every one of you to Gric Convention 2023. This is the first of its kind, the first time the Gric Polishing Castle, decided to put this event together. We ought to have done it physically, but somehow we were not able to host it physically. And I apologize for that because a whole lot went behind the scene. But we decided to do it. Instead of saying, no, we cannot do it, we decided to host it virtually so that everybody can tune in wherever they are. So wherever you are in the world, thank you for tuning in. So let me tell you just a little bit about Gric Convention or Gric Polishing Castle. So one day I went for a conference, and just sitting down in that conference, I received a particular idea that told me a lot about castle. I kept hearing the word castle, and I was wondering, what exactly is castle? What am I supposed to do with castle? I picked up my Google and I checked the word castle, and I found that castle is a place where royalties, where queens and kings dwell. Castle is a place where you find people who are well polished, who are well mannered, cultured, staying. This is where they dwell. And I said, okay, so what do I do with castle? And I still had more of the ideas. And then I got home, being a Christian as I am, with the Spirit of God active in me, I went into prayers because I wanted to know what this castle that kept ringing in my system. I wanted to know what it was all about. What would I do with castle? I've never thought about castle in my life. So what is it about castle? I knew I've always had dreams of putting people together. Helping them to become, refined, become polished, helping them to live right, to speak well, to dress well. I've always had that, even while I was in the classroom teaching, but I just didn't know what to do and how to go about this. So I decided to pray about it. And then I got a clearer interpretation of the castle. I was to build a castle in the air. Castle in the air, meaning that this is going to be virtual. You're bringing these people together and you're just doing it virtually so that you can work with people and turn them from raw personalities to polished personalities, turn them to crude brands to well polished and refined brands. That's exactly the instruction I received, and I decided to move with it. And then 2020, I started what you call Gric Polishing Castle. So for those of you who do not know the meaning of Greek, Gric, Gric, simply means Gloria Robson Imaging Castle. Gloria Robson Imaging Castle. That's exactly what Gric means. So when you keep hearing Gric Polishing Castle, I am just telling you that this castle was given to me by God, and God has helped me to build it. So far, since 2020 till date, we have, or I have been able to groom over 250 people who have passed through the castle. Though there was a little break, but we are back now, and this is the what the castle has been able to do. And everyone who came into that castle, everyone, I don't know if you have any of them watching right now, because this convention was actually originally designed for the nobles that passed through the castle. The name that I chose to give to everyone who passed through the castle is noble. They are all called noble. So when you hear me addressing anybody as a noble, I'm simply saying that this person has been polished, has been refined, and has passed through the Gric polishing castle. This is the reason why we have nobles that have passed through the Gric polishing castle. So if you have not passed through the Gric polishing castle before, you've not gone through our trainings, we've got beautiful trainings, we've got amazing trainings, amazing courses that we run in the castle. There is the advert is already on right now for the castle. So I need you to know that this is the reason behind the Gric polishing castle. And we decided to put the convention together to be able to bring you in and teach you what it takes to work about with nobility. And that's why we decided to theme this igniting nobility for global influence, so that you can learn what it takes to build your integrity, to build credibility, to work like a noble. And I'm glad that our keynote speaker has been able to do justice to that particular topic. So on this note, I'd like to welcome every one of you, one after the other. I want you to know that before the end of this convention, you will learn so much, you will achieve so much if you're serious about it, because I couldn't have put all this together. We will learn so much about how to carry yourself, how to behave yourself, how to build integrity, how not to joke with your business, how to relate with your customers properly. You will learn so much because the speakers that are lined up, they are fully prepared, and they know the very reason why we're out here. So I want to welcome every one of you. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for inviting others to join us here. On this note, I would like to drop my pen and take a bow right now. Tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching you something that will interest you. Thank you so much to all the speakers that are joining us. Thank you. Thank you for choosing to do this for every one of us. I'm amazed at your simplicity, at your humility. And I want to say that I love you all. Thank you for joining us, everyone. You're welcome to Gric Polishing Castle, and you're welcome to Gric Convention 2023. By next year, it's going to be physical. We will do it physically in Lagos, Nigeria. So watch out for it. And thank you so much. Adasa, over to you.
Okay, yeah, that was a beautiful one from a very dignified host. Let me put it that way. Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Robson. We're glad to have you on board, and you've heard it all. A journey, they say, starts with a step. When you see people doing great and mighty things, when you see people doing big things, you should know that they have actually paid so many prices. They have, so many nights, sleepless nights, so many, indulging in so many things to bring it to pass. And I want to say, Mrs. Robson, that we celebrate you today. We know you've done so much you've put in so much effort to make this come to pass. And I like the fact that everyone is already appreciating you. Please, can we show her more love? Thank you, Fortunate, for that. Fortunate says we love you too. And of a truth, we love you too. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for everything you've done. And thank you for making this free for us. We really appreciate this. We know that this is worth hundreds of thousands, but you've made it free. So thank you, Mrs. Robson. Now we have someone very special, who is going to be our next speaker. The next speaker. Now, this is going to be the second time I'll be under the teaching of this person. Now, this is someone I refer to as a complete gentleman. And he will be talking about harnessing dignity in building impact, influence, and income. I'll take that again. You'll be talking about harnessing dignity in building impact, influence, and income. Now, if you've been thinking about, okay, I have this, I have that. So, how can I use my dignity to build impact, to build influence and income? I'm sure you've heard some people say that dignity doesn't pay anymore. Okay, he's coming on board very soon. Now, this is someone, okay, I've already said that about him. His name is Fee Michael Steven. Now, let me tell you some brief things about this man. He's a growth marketing and digital marketing professional. Fee Steven helps brands within and outside Africa to build digital assets, strategies, and marketing campaigns for peak profitability. This way, he lives out his passion to help organizations maximize their digital tools and platform. He is one of the Facebook certified digital marketing associates in West Africa. That's really big, right? He is also a Facebook certified media buying professional, discovery commerce specialist, community manager, media planning professional, and lead trainer. He's a LinkedIn certified marketing insider, a certified social media marketing strategist by HubSpot Academy, and also a Google certified digital marketer, and also a certified British project management professional. And currently a SMEDAN, SMEDAN certified business development service provider. Okay, that is what that means. Now, I would like you to use your emojis or say something nice if you have ever been under his teaching, or you know him or you don't know him. Now, this is somebody you want to welcome. This is somebody you want to hear from. So please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as we welcome Fee Steven. Steven, you're very much welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. It's so good to be here. Hello, everyone. Good evening. And I'm excited to be speaking at this edition of the Gric Convention. Can you hear me? Please confirm that you can hear me in the comments if you can hear me very properly. Now, the things I'm about to share are very profound. I am confident that for as many of you that are live right now, for as many of you that are currently live, and those of you that will be joining, let me just do a quick invite, right? Those that will be joining in the session, I am really confident about the things that you'll be learning, about the value you'll be getting, and how you're going to implement this in your day-to-day life. The topic is harnessing dignity in building impact, influence, and income. First, I want to thank the entire team, most especially the convener of this vision. Gloria is someone that has behind the scenes worked really hard to make sure that this comes to light. And I really want to commend her efforts so far in the many things that she has done. And also the entire team that has been very supportive, that has worked behind the scenes to make sure that this comes to fruition. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. The topic is harnessing dignity in building impact, influence, and income. I have about 30 minutes there, about 25 to 30 minutes. And I will get to talk about this as in a way that will be as practical as possible for you. Now, if you do not have a writing material, I want you to get that. If you have one, I want you to remove all distractions and get ready to actually get something that will define the some specific seasons of your life, especially as you emerge as a noble. All right, really important, really important things I'm about to share. Okay, so now let's get started. The first thing that is really important when it comes to dignity or harnessing dignity, okay, in building impact, the words have been thrown around a lot, right? Impact, influence, income, those words have been thrown around a lot. And one thing that happens when words are used repeatedly is you are almost mistaken to think that they do not matter so much. But in fact, those three words are very important words when it comes to the life of a person. Do you have impact? Do you have impact? Do you have influence? Do you have income? But not just that, do you have those things? Because we're at this time where, if you agree with me, there are people that you would see that this person has a level of income, all right, but the level of income the person has does not match the dignity that was used to get it. All right. So we're at a time when there are people, all right, that have income to a large extent, right? At least the one that we know about. But for some reason, the level of income that they have is not in tandem with the dignity that they express. That means the way in which they got that income, all right, the way by which they came into influence, the way they make their own impact to a large extent does not conform to what can be described as dignity. And this topic, when I saw this topic, I think it was very profound, because this is a topic that I think we need to talk about more often, not just to talk about it to you that are nobles, but to make sure that even you as a person, you're able to proliferate this topic within your circles of influence. It can be your family, it can be your school, it can be your church, it can be a gathering that you're a part of. You're able to proliferate this same kinds of messages along that line. But how then can you harness dignity? Because first you have to do it before you can maybe teach it, right? How can you harness dignity in building impact, influence, and income? How do you go about it? Now, there's this thing I always say, that you cannot consistently behave in a way that is different from who you believe yourself to be. You can write that down. You cannot consistently behave in a way that is different from who you see yourself to be, who you believe yourself to be. And it's very practical. If for example, you get someone that maybe is not in a managerial position, right? And you dress the person with the same suits that the manager dresses in, you give the person the same shoe that the manager wears, and you just take this person from the street and you give all those adornments, but the person does not yet have that sensitivity of who he or she believes himself to be. I can guarantee you that if the person can show up the first day and look all managerial, the person can show up the second day, maybe the first week, but it is not possible for that person to continue that behavior, all right, if it has not yet, if it does not change the insight, if it does not change the mindset, the way that you see yourself. And this is the first point when it comes to dignity. It is almost a futile effort for you to ask someone that has not seen himself or herself as a dignified noble, as someone that is worthy of dignity, as someone that is to a large extent supposed to be addressed as a dignified person. If the person has not seen himself or herself that way, and you tell the person, no, behave in a way that is dignified, or make sure you harness dignity in building this or that, the person may start for a week, the person may start for a day, for 2 days, but you will always fall back to the level of who you see yourself to be. Are you following? Are you already getting this? Are you already getting this point? So how then can you start by changing that belief about yourself, or by improving, by working on that belief, that image, right, about yourself, right? So that when that image is solidified, as you go ahead, as you play in the marketplace, as you build your impact, as you build your influence, as you build your income, when that is solidified, the fact that your image is your starting point, it then allows you to operate, to act, to behave in line with your image. Is this clear? Are you following this thought? So it starts with your image. So how do you harness this? Number one, if you're writing, the first point when it comes to harnessing dignity in building impact, influence, and income, the first point is not the course you create. The first point is not the money you make. The first point is not the things that seems to be accolades around you. The first point, number one, is image. If you're following me, you can write image in the chat box. Number one is image. Image is the first thing. Nobody exists without an image. Impossible. In fact, biblically, at the beginning of creation, when man was going to be created, there was that statement that let us make man in our own image. So there is always an image that is attached to the making of any man. As a noble, there is an image that is linked to your making. If you are someone that has any plans to be made, there is an image that you will be made in. Everybody is made in an image. Everybody. You can't exist without an image. It's not possible. It's not possible. So at this moment, you're already being formed, but you're formed through an image. This image can be an image that has been put on you from your family, maybe the family you came out from, or the family that you're currently existing in. So from when you were born, you did not have any control about the things you hear. You didn't have control of the things you hear, the things you saw, the places you went to. There was no control. So during that period of time, an image is already created for you. You're already seeing something that unconsciously you're being built along that line. That image is what started you up from family. That is an image. That's something you're seeing. From society, family is the first. The second way that you would have gotten your image is from society, from the things around you. Sociologically, an image has been formed. If every time the education you receive from society primes you to think of yourself as lesser than you really are, that is the way you would think of yourself. So when you see people act in a particular way, sometimes it's not really their fault. They've been imposed upon with that image of themselves. So you tell them that this can be different, and they don't even believe you. They don't see it as a possibility. They've never thought about it. But in the midst of this family and societal image building, there is an original image that you as a person and you as nobles would need to come into the consciousness of if you really want to build impact, influence, and income with dignity. There's an image that was original. And that's why, when for those that are Christians here, after the fall of man and God sent his son to die for the world, as much as that death on the cross, to a large extent, for those that believe and for those that confess, it gave that salvation from a particular construct that had been made. But beyond that, because it is also important that the event of salvation is not the end point. And that's why, in one of his letters, Paul tried to explain a concept, and he said that, we all, with our faces unveiled, can do what? Can begin to behold, all right, the glory, like in a mirror, and we are transformed into an image. You see that word again, image. So beyond being saved, beyond being aware, there is a beholding that needs to happen for you to be transformed back to that image that was in the beginning. So there's always the way to condition yourself to begin to form yourself according to an image is by a beholding. Are you following this? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going a bit too far, but I want you to see the technology that can allow you to stand. Because see, if there's anything I've experienced personally, and I've heard a lot of stories myself, but even in my personal life, when you start building impact, influence, and income, I can assure you that there are temptations you have never been tempted with that will come your way. There are possibilities that you can now afford. There are offers that will come your way that may not be dignified. And if you do not have an image that you are falling back on, if you don't have an image of dignity you're falling back on, there is almost 100% possibility of compromise. A lot of people that compromise is because they have not yet solidified this path. That beholding that brings about a transformation. This is something that you have to do consistently over a period of time. How do you do this? It says, we all with unveiled faces, we behold as in a mirror, and then we are transformed into that same image. That same image that was said that let us make man in our image and in our likeness. But beyond that image, which is original, there's also the image that you yourself as a person can begin to create, can begin to imbibe. The image that answers the question, who are you? Who are you? And how do you do this? I'll tell you how. I'll share the way that I do it. For example, your image can come, for example, from you trying to first make a recognition and bring to your awareness the things that have already been spoken about you. That you are a king, that you're a priest, that you are this, you're that. Those things that have been spoken about you as a person. You can go ahead and look for them, research them. What has been spoken about me? What are the things that I believe to be true about myself? Ignore what you've been told all these years. Ignore what your president has told you. Ignore what society has told you. In fact, sometimes you may even need to ignore what your family has told you, because it's not everything they told you that conforms to the image. Now you want to begin the process of beholding, so that you can begin to be transformed into a particular image. So what do? First, you need to list out what you want to behold. Oh, I am a king. This is who I am. All right. And where the word of a king is, there's power. And I'm speaking to people that are nobles, and that's why I'm coming from this direction, because I know that Gloria has really worked with people in the Gric castle, right? And one of the things that is really important that she has done is to make you see that nobility that comes with you being a king, you being a queen. So what has been said about you? Do you believe that you can do all things? Because if you believe that you will not run away from challenges, your image. Do you believe that you have a supply that does not end? What do you believe? How do you think about yourself? Do you believe that you're a chosen generation? Do you believe that you're a royal person? Do you believe that you're someone that has been set apart? Do you believe that even though your beginning is maybe small, your end shall be exceedingly great? Do you believe that? Do you believe that you are the light of the world? Is that the image you're looking at? What is that image that you're currently focusing on? This is how dignity starts. This is how dignity starts. So when you have that consciousness that I am the light of the world, there are some things that can come along your way when you're building impact, influence, and income that may be attractive. But because of that image that you have beheld over a period of time, you can say no to them. Do you believe that Gentiles can come to your light? Do you believe that people can come and receive wisdom from you? What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe that you can teach someone something? Because it's your belief that would condition how you carry yourself. There are some things you believe about yourself that you won't need someone to tell you to dress in a particular way. You can't just expose yourself. There's some beliefs you have about yourself that you won't need someone to tell you not to go to some particular places. You're like, nah, my kind, you can't find my kind there. There's a belief you have, there's an image of yourself you will have, all right, that you will not compromise in the path, all right, in the path to building impact, influence, and income. So the first thing is your belief. So now that you have made a list of that belief, you need to affirm this thing. Remember, the image you currently have is an image that has been imposed on you over and over again. They didn't tell you once. All the things that they told you are not enough. They told you with words. They told you with grades in school. They told you with the way they looked at you in a restaurant. They told you with the times you were rejected. They told you in different ways. You've been told you are not enough in different ways. You cannot tell yourself, I am enough once and it will be enough. No. It doesn't work that way. That's why they say we do what? We behold. Beholding is a continuous action. You keep beholding. As you behold what happens, you're transformed. How do you behold? There's a system called the system of affirmations that allows you to speak. You speak the things, the new image you're creating about yourself, you begin to speak that to yourself. If nobody is saying something good about you, you have your mouth. Say something good about yourself. And that's why I always say that it's almost sad that someone that has known you for 1 month will come and tell you something about yourself and you feel bad. Has anybody known you longer than yourself? The reason why someone can tell you something bad about yourself and you feel bad is because you have not told yourself sufficient things about yourself. Imagine someone coming to tell me that, oh, Fee, I think you're a very stupid person. I'll look at you and be picking you. You do not even know me to start with. Is there anybody that knows you longer than you've known yourself? From when you were born, you knew yourself. So if you have not indoctrinated yourself with sufficient knowledge of your image, awareness of your image, someone can just come to you and tell you anything and you're sad. So the first thing is your image. Let me move forward very quickly because I know that I have very limited time, right? The second thing after your image is your values. If you want to harness dignity, after you've identified your image, the second thing is to make sure that you're clear about your values. You need to have a list of values. Remember when I was the teams that I work with for my different programs, there are 3 core values we work with. The first core value is commitment. Commitment means responsibility. That's a value. What does that do to you? You know that when you're tasked with something, you have that sense of responsibility that I will get this done. It's a responsibility. Commitment is about you knowing that this thing will take something from you and you saying, I accept to do this. It will take your time, it will take your energy. Sometimes it can take your resources in terms of money. But because you're responsible for this, you have said that I have owned this. I am responsible for my life. This is one of the first things my mentor taught me. My mentor is Elisha Marman. One of the first principles he taught me was that your life is your business. Your life is your business. Take responsibility. Do not wait for anybody. Don't wait for me. Don't wait for Gloria. Don't wait for anybody. Don't wait for your parents. Don't wait for your husband or your wife, right? Take responsibility for your life. Commitment. That's a value that I work with. That's a value that I personally work with and I work with my team with. Second value is excellence. Excellence. It's one thing to say I'm responsible for this and then you do it shabbily. You can say, oh, I was told to do this design because I'm responsible. Let me just do it sharp. 1 minute, you just do something that is very, very ugly and you put it out there and say, after all, I did the work. No. Commitment and responsibility is not enough. Excellence. Excellence means you're doing something to the highest possible level you can afford. The highest possible level your skills can afford. The highest possible level your money can afford. When you operate a life of excellence, you are being challenged to do more because with excellence, you're always doing the highest you can currently afford. So when you get to the highest, what do you think happens? You are pushed a bit forward so that you can go a bit higher. A lot of you have not moved forward, not because you can't, but because you've not even exhausted your current level of excellence. You're still delivering at this point when this is where your current excellence is. When the day you hit this excellence, what happens is that you'll be pushed forward. Excellence is a core value. What are your values? Another value we work with a lot is communication. Communication. This is a value that I had to learn myself. There was a point in time when I was really terrible with communication. Especially because of the kind of work I do. I had to learn it because it was affecting relationships. And I am big on relationships. You're able to communicate. If there's something wrong, right, you say something. All right. So it's okay. It's good to be excellent. All right. It's good to it's good to be committed. All right. But it's also good to communicate. It's good to communicate. Okay. I have a few minutes left. So you have to make a list of values that resonate with you. It may not be these ones I've mentioned. What values do you think are values that you can live by as a person? If you have values, dignity is possible. If you have values, what happens is when things come your way in this building of impact, influence, and income that are not in line with what a noble should do, because of your values, you can say, nah, this is not me. This goes against my values. All right? This goes against my values. Now, the third point, very quickly as I begin to round up, the third point is value. You can write it. Number 3, values. So number 1 is what? Image. Number 2 is values. Values. While number 3 is value. You can write it down. Number 3 is value. This is really important. And it's from this number 3 that I'm beginning to talk about impact, influence, and income now. So I've been talking about dignity, but now we're about to move it a bit forward. So you have your image, you have your values, right? Things that you stand by. Then you have value. This is the progression. If you start with value, I can assure you that you can try to get value and compromise on values and on image, because you don't start from there. This is the progression. So what is value? In the world of men, Your value is not take me as I am. No. In the world of men, your value is not even just even solely spiritual value. No. In the world of men, there are some things that people recognize as value, and you have to be able to get these things together. I will list three of them, and I'll talk about them in terms of you as a. When I'm speaking with you on this session, I have the total conviction. I'm speaking to kings and queens. I'm speaking to nobles. Your value, all right, as a noble, the first thing that is an indicator, a metric, all right, in the world of men that kind of projects your value as a person is the metric that I will refer to as king level education. You can write that down. Your value, the first thing on that value, the first factor on that value is your education. And beyond just education, I will call it for you, I'll call it king level education. King level education. What do I mean by that? Now, there's this very interesting verse in scriptures that says that the glory the glory of God is to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings is to search it out. There's an education that comes from trying to search out a matter. You're trying to look for what is the limits of this. Are you a designer? Are you someone that is into personal branding? How far have you learned personal branding? How far have you gone searching? King level education does not stop in the first thing you learned. It doesn't stop in the first course you took. King level education takes stringent, aggressive searching of matters that are hidden. I recently just finished a course on AR and VR at augmented reality and virtual reality. I am still learning till today. Why? Because I know that the time will come very soon that you start to do marketing. You start to buy things using just your glasses. You wear your glasses and you're seeing options of things to shop. So I have to start doing that from now. I have to start learning how to create actual Instagram filters. So while people are using Instagram filters on Instagram and doing things like that, I have gone ahead to learn how to create it. So as I am like this, I can create an Instagram filter. How? By learning. That is what differentiates kings. You don't do basics. You cannot get professional results by learning basic things. No, you can't get results at the level of mastery by learning things that are basic. No. So go for king level education. All right. Let me move forward very quickly because of time. Go for what? King level education. The second thing on that value is your skills. And by education, of course, your academics is there. Let me just mention that so that I don't think it's not a part of it. It's very important. Your academics, for those that maybe are still within educational structures, if you can go for your master's, go for it. If you can go for your PhD, go for it. If it's something that is aligned with your field, go for it. Go to the best level of education you can afford. Now, on that value, the second thing is your skills. You need to learn what I call master level skills. If there's a skill that you decided to learn, whatsoever that skill is, make sure that you're learning to a point of mastery and not stopping at the basics. Master level skills. So your education is one academically. Second is you should have a skill, have at least a skill that you're very good at. Not a skill you're starting, a skill you're very good at. Then the third thing on that value is your experiences. So the three things that are used to connote value in the world of men are your education, your skills, and your experiences. Think about it. Think about it. Think about maybe a job application. Think about a fellowship application. Think about appointments. Think about think about anything in the world of men. These three things always has a way to come to play. Either education, skills, or experiences. The question is, how are you increasing in these things intentionally? How are you increasing in these three things intentionally? A lot of people don't know, but I had finished a master's in an MBA in marketing. So I have an MBA currently. I'm currently doing a second MBA in leadership and management. I don't announce these ones online a lot, right? But I am moving forward in education. Yes. Let me not go too deep into that. My time is already up. Now, the last point is visibility. This is the last point. If you're harnessing dignity in building impact, influence, and income, the last thing you need to look at is visibility. No one lights a lamp and keeps it under the bushel. No one lights a lamp and hides it under the bed. No. Let your light so shine so that men will see and give glory to God. So visibility is a commandment. Visibility is a responsibility. It is your responsibility to make sure that the value you carry is seen by those that need it the most. You need to take visibility as serious as possible because it's an important part of what you do. So learn the art of visibility. Learn the art of visibility. Make sure that you're seen. And I personally define visibility as being seen by the right people. That's visibility for me. Visibility is you being seen by the right people. So when I say visibility, do not just think of Facebook ads, of Instagram or LinkedIn. No. Who are the people that need to see you? For some of you, it may be in your office. Some of you, it may be in your workplace. It may be in your school. Visibility is making sure that those that need to see you, see you. How do you go about that? You have to learn it. And if your visibility requires you to use social media tools and platforms, learn it also. Just say you're shy. What is shy, right? We were all there. You're shy. True, you're right. But how long do you want to continue this way? Okay. So make sure that you learn these things and you break out of those molds that have been created for you. Who told you were born shy? Being shy is an image that was projected on you. When you wanted to speak up, they told you to shut up. You wanted to say something, they told you to go and sit down. And then you go through that upbringing and you get to 18, 19, and you say, oh, I'm shy. No, you're not shy. You were given an image of shyness. Who told you that? Who told you that? So become a person of visibility. All right. So I will just go ahead and round up now. Let's go over those 4 points again. Have you gotten value so far? Hope you've gotten value so far. Let's go over those 4 points. Number 1 point is what someone should write it down. Number 1 point is image, really important. Image, very, very important. The second point is your values. I want you to go through this. Have your values. Have the values that resonate with you. The third point is what your value as a person. And I know that I said that this value is measured in 3 major ways in the world of men: your education, your skills, and your experience. Those are 3 metrics that are used to measure value in the world of men. There may be more, but these are some major ones. And then the last point is your visibility. All right. So I'll end with what I always say, and that's the fact that growth will cost you, but not growing will cost you more. Growth will cost you, but not growing will cost you more. So decide to grow, decide to harness dignity as you're building impact, as you're building influence, and as you're building income. And how do you do this? By clarifying your image, by having values, by working on your value. This is very important. Do you want income? If you want income, improve your value and income will be there. Improve your value, improve your visibility, and you have influence and you will be impactful. So thank you so much. And thank you once again for having me. Okay, I think my power is out. My backup power will kick in a moment. Second. All right. But I think that happened at the time when I was really, really ending the entire session. So I hope you got value from the session. And I think I'm done now.
Hey. All right. Thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you so much, Fee. Yeah, that was a great one. Everyone, I would like you to say thank you to Fee for that great session. Honestly, as Fee was speaking, the first thing that came to mind was a statement made by Bishop David Oyedepo some times back. He said that you can only feature in a future you can picture. I'll take that again. He said you can only feature in a future you can picture. So that means if you really want to be a dignified person, the first process is, you have to picture yourself. You really see yourself living that dignified life. So if you can picture yourself as a highly dignified person, then it will help you to guard your heart. It will help you to guard anything that pertains your character with all diligence. You want to be careful with the places you go to. You want to be careful with the things you say, the way you dress, who you are seen with. I always tell people that you don't have to be available to everybody, but you should be approachable by all, okay? Because it is not pride. You see yourself, there's some caliber of people you want to roll with. You're not just here and there. You don't indulge in some behavior. To build impact, influence, and income, it takes a whole lot of sacrifice, as Stephen has rightly said. And trust me, I actually took note of the 4 things you mentioned: the image, the values, and your value as a person, then also visibility. I think those are the things we should work on. So everyone, please just help me say thank you to Stephen for that great session once again. I want to see your session, your thank you in the comment section. Thank you very much, Stephen. That was a nice one. It was really great having you. So quickly, without wasting time, I'm sure that we are all enjoying the sessions tonight, and it is truly valuable. Now, I am beginning to feel like it shouldn't end. I'm about to introduce our last speaker for tonight. Trust me. I'm about to introduce our last speaker for tonight. Yeah, everyone is saying thank you, Fee. Thank you so much, Fee. We love you. We appreciate you so much. Okay, without wasting time, our last speaker for tonight is Bosede Olushola Obasa. Now, the topic to be treated is building a strong character for global influence. Now, I mentioned in the video I made for the advert of this event that Esther in the Bible, no, honestly, when I thought about that nobility and, a nursing or everything that has to do with nobility, my mind just went straight to Esther. And I can remember asking Mrs. Robson that if it would be okay, to impute a little bit of this biblical story. And she said, okay, go ahead. So now you don't, even if you're not a Christian, you can actually learn from this. If you have read about the slave girl Esther and how she became the queen of one of the most influential kingdom in a generation, she went through 1 good year of beauty treatment and another 6 months of polishing before she could even walk into the king's chamber. No, that's a whole loss, like 1 year and 6 months. Now, the good thing is we don't have to go through that rigorous process, to stand before kings. All we needed to do is just to be part of this training, put everything we're learning tonight into practice, then we're on our way, to taking over the global stage, to being that dignified person that we are meant and designed to be. So lastly, we shall be listening to Madam Bosede. I don't know if the person, I'm sorry. So we shall be listening to the person, and quickly, I'll be reading out the profile. I'll be reading out the profile as you also join me in welcoming her. So Bosede Olushola Obasa is the founder and chief executive of First Royal Character and Values Limited, a social capital development and management company based in Lagos, Nigeria. To her credit is a combination of 22 years of inspiring professional and entrepreneurship experience. Wow. This includes 14 brilliant years of Punch newspapers as a journalist, embellished with our foray into entrepreneurship as corporate trainer and consultant. Then annually, she speaks to an over 7,000 audience, literally helping individuals become institutions through strong values and brand reputation orientation. She leads a vibrant team in playing the strategic role of business sustainability and development partner to RCV's clients across sectors such as oil and gas, medical, educational, professional bodies, real estate, public service, and maritime. Now, she's certified leadership coach and mentor and fellow Chartered Institute of Mentoring and Coaching Nigeria. She's also an associate of Women in Business and Public Service and protégé to Nigeria's High Commissioner to Jamaica, Ambassador Dr. Maureen on executive leadership, business, and global influence. She serves on the board of Pertinence Group, a frontline real estate firm. She's a recipient of educational degrees in journalism, public relations, and advertising, respectively. She's of course, from all that has been read, provision as a brand trust builder, best workplace attitudes trainer, brand sustainability consultant, and sustainable customer service expert. Wow. She's the producer and host of the radio show, Mind Your Character, an author, a ghostwriter, content media and PR strategies, and a fast-growing thought leader to a strong community of adherents. She is a wife and a mother. So, ladies and gentlemen, with a loud ovation, you can use your emojis for that. Join me in welcoming Mrs. Bosede Olushola Obasa. Put your hands together with your emoji. Please help me welcome her on board. We are glad to have you, ma'am.
Hello, we are still waiting for her. It seems she's yet to join. So you can
Okay.
continue with the question. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, yes, you can continue. Good evening, everyone. All right. Okay, I would like us to do something quickly. I would like to do something quickly while we wait for Mrs. Obasa. I would like you to, from our first speaker, Mr. Nath, to the second speaker, Fee. I would like you to just type on the screen two things. Two things. Okay, one thing that you picked from Mr. Nathan, like one thing, one significant thing that you picked from Mr. Nas that you know you're taking home tonight, and one thing you also picked from Faye. I would like to read it in that comment section. So let's go. Let's go. Don't be surprised. There might be a prize if we have a winner. So we might give out prizes. So let's go. What is it you've learned so far? I would like to see it right here. I'd like you to type it out, type it out. Type it out. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. So let's go. What is it you've learned so far?
Okay, good evening. She's here already. And she's joining now.
Already. I'm here already.
I would like you to, from our first speaker, Mr. Na, to the second speaker, Faye. I would like you to just type on the screen two things. Two things. Okay, one thing that you pick from Mr. Nathan, like one.
Good evening, ma. It seems you are streaming our live session. So can you just pause that
One thing you also
while you
pick
speak?
from Faye.
Because that is
I would like to read it in that comment section. So let's go. Let's go. Don't be surprised. There might be a prize.
I didn't hear
We
you.
have a winner.
Yeah.
So we might
It
give
seems
a
you are
prize.
streaming. Like,
So let's see.
stop
What
the
is
video
it
you are
you've learned
streaming
so
from
far?
the end.
I would like to see it right here.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Type it out. Type it out.
Thank
Type it out.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, good
I
evening, ma.
joined the class earlier on.
Yeah, it's fine. Good evening, ma. You're welcome, ma. So we can hear you
Thank
clearly.
you.
And over to you. Thank you for joining the live session, ma.
Okay, thank you for having me. Sorry, I want to be Oliver Twist. I want to listen while I'm also talking. I've been in the class for the first and second sessions. Good evening, everyone, and it gives me great pleasure to be here. I have 30 minutes to add my bits to the class tonight. I want to thank Mrs. Robson for the opportunity to be here. And I can assure you that this will be value added. A number of things had been said by both the first speaker and the second, and I'm going to be building on it. We've heard about dignity. I was in class, so I heard about dignity from Phil. I guess that was the name. And I also heard about igniting nobility for global impact. That's a keynote speech taken by Mr. Nat. Okay, that's all I remember the name being called. Amazing. I have been absolutely enriched, and so I hope that I'm audible and I can go on. I've been asked to speak on building strong character for global influence. I will not need to repeat a few of the things that have been said already. You probably have even heard the name or the word character mentioned by the first two persons that spoke. That's because nobility itself is a character trait. Nobility is a character trait. It's not just a state. It's not just being, B-I-B-E-I-N-G. It is also a trait, a quality. So if you go now and you check your dictionary, there'll be two very important first place definitions you will find for the word noble or nobility. The first will be something that tells you about the state of being, that is born into a noble family, born as a noble, and the rest of them. with all the historical linkages. I will not, a reason I was glad I was in class is I won't have to bore you by repeating what has been said before. So Mr. Nat did a very good job helping us come as close as possible to that part of nobility. But he didn't stop there. He also went ahead to mention the second part, which is my place of interest today. And he shared a view that I have on my notes, and I'm going to begin on that note. I said that nobility is one way that a peasant can choose to become royalty and not be questioned. You will not be taken as a thief. You will not be taken as impersonating anybody. A peasant can choose to become royalty just by beginning a work, a personal project on nobility. Amazing. He said his own in another language, right? In another sentence. But because I also share that frame of reference as he does, I could understand what he was saying. So I have it on my note here. Once he said, I'm like, wow, amazing. So I'm reading it the way it is on my own note. Nobility is one way that a peasant can choose to become royalty and yet not be questioned. So nobody is going to arrest you and say, why do you behave noble? Nobility is meant for us who are royals. No, it's not true that because you are not born into your royalty, you cannot display, live, speak, work, interact, communicate, and transact business with nobility. It's not true at all. So within the short time that I have, I'm supposed to be out of here by 8:10, judging by the number of minutes that I have a few things I want to drive in. Nobility is a key word for the entire conference we started today. Strong character goes in tandem with nobility. I'll explain the marriage between two of them. So if you're wondering, you're asked to speak on strong character and global influence, building strong character and global influence. Why are you mentioning nobility? It's because, and if you are writing, you may please put this down. Nobility is the evidence of strong character. Nobility is the evidence, the certificate, the proof of strong character. It is that crest that tells me, without you speaking, that this is a noble person. So you hear people use the word noble character. Noble character. That is character that is, there is a stamp of authority saying that this is noble as a character. So building strong character for global influence, I'll pick my keywords and that'll be it. The word building is very important to me because character itself is work, it comes always with an active verb. So you hear character formation, you hear character building, you hear character development. Whichever way you look at it, whether development, whether building, whether formation, it tells you something about the need for you to be active. So today I want to onboard you on a journey, build up to what the first two speakers earlier today had given us. You can just take this as cementing the entire pack and launching you. So before you get to the session tomorrow, you can initiate, activate, and propel yourself already towards a new pattern that will earn you global reckoning. That is, you become a citizen of the world. Character development, particularly noble character, is a sure way to become a citizen of the world. Remember Mr. Nat saying something like etiquettes, codes of conduct, and the rest of them. Every society, every environment, every space has rules that guide them. But you see, there are certain things that are basic that if you already have them, all you need to do is switch into the details of it. This is so important. Nobody does this for you. So I am unbundling my keywords, and that might just be it for me this evening. Building. For everyone in this room, nobody builds sleeping. Nobody builds and say the house has been built. Now, nobody builds and the rest of them. So building is active. What do I mean by that? I'll leave a few words for you. When you're building character, whether for local or for global influence, or for personal influence, or for family influence, or for community influence, whatever your space, where you are going to play ultimately, certain things are basic for you to keep close to your heart. You cannot do without them. Number one is the fact that character building must be intentionally done. No assumptions. How can you say, I went to bed yesterday night and when I woke up, my 3-story building was standing? How? No, that will never happen. So formation, building, development, these are key words that stand side by side the word character to help you see that there's work to be done. Kudos to Mrs. Robson and every other person in that space, including myself, who help people realize the importance of it. She has a space where she's serving, and I have a space as well. But the point is, you have to be intentional. Character building must be done intentionally. Keyword, building. Number 2, character building must be consistently done. So you don't say, so the second speaker was saying that when you have personal values, it helps you take decisions. It helps you make decisions easily. So when something is pushed in your front and it does not fall within the frame of your values reference, you know that, no, I cannot do this. Awesome. That's absolutely amazing. Consistency, however, lends credence to what that speaker was trying to say by helping you see that you must be consistent. You don't just start building, you continue to build. Should I shock those of you who are listening to me this evening? Once you start building character, you don't stop. There is no graduation day. There is no finishing line until the day that you draw your last breath and you exit the world. Guess what? Even after you have exited the world, you no longer are building, but the effect of your character just started being massive. If it has been positive, rewards are being earned, returns on that investment is being enjoyed by generations after you, posterity. If it was negative, they are bearing the brunt for what you did with your name. How important is your name? What do you want to make out of your name? Names appear on global stages. Some people's names today have gone to places where they've not gone physically. So one of the ways you can start building your character is minding everything that your name is on. I like to say about myself, to say that if it is not excellent, my name cannot be found on it. That is a statement of commitment. It's not just sounding loud. It means that I hold myself accountable to excellent delivery of whatsoever I do. So, the job I want you to do leaving this conference is start building character intentionally. The word building happens to have been in the line of topic I've been asked to speak on, and it's major for me. Character building must be done intentionally, must be done consistently. Number 3, must be done concertedly. Concerted effort must be put in. That is, you know what effort is right for when, for how, and for who. Concerted effort, consistent, and intentional. That's for the word building. If that seems like something that you have taken in properly, then I know that I have a good foundation that will help you be able to do what the first speaker and the second speaker said. There must be that point at which you joined the, what do I call it now? You joined that point in your life where you know that from this day, I mind everything that has to do with my name. I treasure everything that has to do with my name, because at the end of the day, whether I'm of noble character or not, that's the certification that I get, that's the crest that I wear, that is the reputation that I carry in the minds of people. It depends on whether I am intentional, concerted, and consistent about building a strong character. A few things about nobility that I mentioned earlier on, that nobility is one way that a peasant and a commoner, an ordinary person, can choose. So you can come to that point in your life where you choose that. I may not have been born into a royal family, but I want to leave a name that is royal, that is noble for my children. And you start the journey. You begin to mind the nitty-gritties that have to do with it, plus everything that has been told you earlier on. Then number 2, I said it is having or showing fun. We already have got that definition. I don't want to go there. I mean, personal qualities. So the word nobility, why it's important for me to keep driving it in as part of what our general theme is, even in my own session, is to help you see that if you've ever wondered or you didn't know before, nobility is a character quality. Nobility is a character trait. You can build it. So build nobility character consistently, build nobility character concertedly, build nobility character intentionally, and you eventually earn yourself the certification. Life hands you, life hands over to you the certification as a person of noble character. You know, there are several awards. They say man of the year, man of the century, man of the decade. There are certain awards you can earn, orchestrate by yourself for your name and for your posterity. One of it is choosing to be a person of noble character. There's plenty of work. You see, I said concertedly. Concertedly, efforts will be made. Consistently, whether it's convenient or it's not convenient. Intentionally, no guesswork. You know exactly what you're aiming at. You know exactly what it requires. And when you do, the aura of that certification that life hands you goes off to the international communities, even ahead of you showing your face. And we have a global sitting room this time around. They said the world is a global village. And somebody said, it's not just a village anymore. It's not a global sitting room. That means that whatever you do here, people can see. Let's talk about online reputation, for instance. Are you one of those in class this evening who goes online and then throws very, very toxic comments around? It's one of the areas where you have to manage well, start to build strong character. I don't mean that you cannot take position on issues. I don't mean that you cannot say what's on your mind, but I'm saying that you will now learn how to say it without demeaning the essence of it or the results that you want to achieve. You get into that space of life where you think of consequences before you take actions. That is a man or a woman who has already joined the tribe in character building. In character building. So, suffice it to say that a noble character, a strong character, or when you are called a person of noble character, when you are referred to, when your name is called, and the next thing that follows is Bosede Olushola Obasa is a woman of noble character. Come on. You don't know how much of a word that is bigger than any other recognition anyone can give you. As a matter of fact, every other recognition will need that as a platform to suffice. You can get it done. Okay, so let me tell you a few things that should excite you on why you should take this journey. What are the benefits of building a strong character that will earn you the certification of life, the recognition of life as a person of noble character, even at the global scenes? Benefits. Let's see a few benefits. I'm sure that should tickle you. You know, because I'm told, or I heard or learned that one of the ways people learn is help them see what benefit that is to them. Good and noble, I wrote in my notes, are qualities and qualities are globally acceptable standards. So I'll take that again. Good or noble character traits or qualities are globally acceptable standards. Good or noble character traits and qualities are globally acceptable standards. Sincerity in Nigeria. Go to the UK. Sincerity in Nigeria is sincerity in the UK. Trust in Nigeria. Go to the US. Trust in the US is trust in Nigeria. These values do not change form. They don't mutilate. Or what's that word? There's a word they call it, it's not mutilate now. This word was very popular when I've forgotten that they used for coronavirus the last time. They said the thing has mutated, yeah. So it keeps changing form. No, values do not change form. And values are the bedrock standard procedures for building character. They are like your raw materials. They are like your ingredients. So you remember the last speaker mentioned in person. That's why I said that being in the class has helped me. So I can just leave whatever they have set foundation and build on it for you so that you can earn more with the little time that we have. And from my time here, I see it's about 5 or 6 minutes to the end of this session. So let me also let you know that you are gradually on your way to the global community of nobles if you stay focused and committed to building strong character. In case you're writing, you are globally on your way to the global community of nobles if you stay focused and committed to building strong character. Yes, you are on your way. Like always attracts like. It's still a law globally. So if you build it well enough as a personal development project, for instance, you will soon begin to attract the likes of you all over the world, and your influence follows suit. Because we're looking at global influence. Your influence follows suit. What then are benefits that you can expect? 1, a strong character enhances your personal relationships. For instance, if you are empathetic, if you are courteous, if you are sincere, if you are committed, if you are a person given to excellence, if you are disciplined, if you are devoted to any cause that your name is on. I just mentioned a few character qualities that can act as value standpoints when building your traits. Courteous, knowledgeable, trustworthy, excellent, all of that and more. It can help you enhance personal relationships. People will count it a privilege to be in your space rather than you becoming a burden to them. Number two, a person of character is a person of trust. I mean, strong or noble character. So it can foster trust in your brand. One of the things that makes waves for me in business of training and consulting, is trust. The fact that people know that I'm a person who is signed up to integrity. It's not enough to just say, I'm a person of integrity. They are not payoff lines. They are statements of commitments. That, look at me, you can expect this from me. I put myself to the task to ensure that I deliver this. Okay, so it promotes a sense of well-being. Yes, you just feel happy with yourself, even though you don't have the 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures that others have. There's this sense of fulfillment of a life you are living well. It rewards your descendants. I mentioned that earlier. It becomes a legacy for you, home and abroad. A person who is influencing their world through nobility of character. Your children's children will love your name. They keep sending blessings to you long after you are gone. That we thank God for the name of our mom or our dad. Then it makes you a positive torch bearer, role model. You're role modeling it. Everyone is swapping around you because they want to get a little of the light that you carry. Finally, this is important to a lot of people in this generation. It can actually bring you wealth that is money, wealth, and beyond money. Finally, the beautiful thing about character development, character building, and making an influence globally is that it can be learned. It can be learned. But you see, in learning, you have to be intentional. Where I started from, you have to be committed. You have to do it intentionally, do it committedly, do it concertedly. I can't tell you for how long this will last for, but just make it your thing. Make it one of your life goals to be a person of noble character, because your influence cannot be local with that. It definitely will transcend into the global scenes. Okay, that's the more that time will allow me for. Let me let you know as I round off this session that character development, or character as a word, can be positive or negative. So there are bad character traits and there are good character traits. So you make the good one your choice, and you're on your way to making influence globally, because good character traits are globally acceptable standards. Everywhere you enter, any corner of the world, the people who value what you do will connect with you. And it makes it easy for you to acclimatize. Thank you for your time, and God bless.
Wow. Wow. That was really hot, like fire. Thank you so much, Mrs. Bosede Olushola Obasa. Oh my God, I have learned so much from you tonight. I don't know why. When each of the speakers were speaking, there is always one somewhere in the Bible that always just comes to my mind. And in Mrs. Bosede's case, what I just could think of was Daniel. You know, the Bible says, and Daniel proposed in his heart not to defile himself with the king's meat. You know, that is building character. Like, you know where you're going. You know that there is a strong character that is needed for that place. You don't indulge in what everybody's doing. You are able to stand out. I think that's exactly what that particular scripture is saying. And Mrs. Bosede Olushola has already wrapped everything up in what she said tonight. So can we just go to our comment section right now and say a very big thank you to Mrs. Bosede for that amazing session. I am sure we won't recover from this session quickly. It's something that is going to last for a long time. So thank you once again, Ma. I have particularly learned so much, and I've benefited so much from it. And I can see myself replicating and showcasing it in everything that has to do with me henceforth. I pray that I will do that. So thank you once again, Ma. I am
Thank
very
you.
sure that we are all full. Like, you've had a very good meal. This has passed as a
May I
three-course
leave
meal.
now?
Okay, yeah, I don't think Mrs. Robson will want you to leave yet. I think there is something she would want to do with you. Maybe
Okay.
you can, yes, maybe just, all right, Mrs. Robson, do you want to come up now or should I continue?
Yes, please. Yeah, yeah. Let me come up now. Let me come up now. Let me come up now. Can you all hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can see you, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Bosede Olushola Obasa. Thank you so much for showing up strong, very strong. I knew it. I knew that this is your food, like character building, character talk is your food. And I decided to bring it up. I mean, I decided to give you that topic deliberately. Thank you so very much. I'm really
Thank
excited
you.
that you are able to spend this. I mean, I honor you. I honor you for your time. Thank you so much. I want to find out if you have any product, anything you want to, tell the audience, just so in case they want to patronize you and all that. Because I mean, there are some of them who may want to know you better. They want to run your courses and all that. So you could just talk about it now. Other speakers are going to come up back again to talk. So instead of me bringing you back again, I want you to just talk about it. If you have anything that you want them, any program, any product, we want to know it so that we can, I mean, they can come about, purchasing and relating with you.
Okay, thank you for the platform once again and for this opportunity. Yes, tomorrow I'm hosting a free webinar on unlocking customer service. Okay, so I'm trying to. I didn't see this coming. I know it's something on customer service, but there's a way we crafted it. Oh yes, unlocking the hard currency in customer service. One of the places where we deploy character training is in customer service because it has a lot to do with it. Attitude is everything in serving a client. So we're doing this for free because the first week in October marked the International Customer Service Week. So we decided to do something for free for both our in-clients and those who might be joining. So if you're interested, I would drop the link to show your interest on the WhatsApp of Mrs. Robson, and then she will send it to everyone on the call tonight. It's absolutely free. It's our CSR to mark the International Customer Service Week, which held the first week. Every October, first week in October is Customer Service Week. So we decided to do the last Saturday, and it's online, so you do not have to move from your location to be part of it, and then it's absolutely free. And there are other benefits that accrue to you as a matter of joining. So if you're passionate about customer service, come and unlock the hard currency. There's certain hard currencies in customer service. It's been 8 years of me researching and practicing the things I will be sharing with plenty of proofs, of course. So thank you so much, Madam B.
Okay, Mrs. Robson, over to you. All right, would like to invite the other two speakers, Mr. Nath and Mr. Fee Stephen, before Mrs. Robson gives us a closing remark. So if Mr. Fee Stephen is there, please would like you to come back on board, and Mr. Nath as well. Can Temitope help confirm and verify if they are still there?
Okay, they are not
Temitope,
here.
please help us do that. I'm speaking with them, so they should be here any moment from now. I mean, they need to talk to us. They need to tell us what they've got.
Okay, while we wait for them, I think it's okay for Mrs. Gloria Robson to just go ahead with her closing remark.
Okay, just a minute. I think they will join now.
Okay.
Unless maybe they don't want to talk about it, but Fee should be here. Mr. Nath should be here. Oh wow, wow, wow. Hadassah, could you please let me find out from the audience if they can hear you? Let's know what they've learned. Let's know what they've learned. Engage them. Let's know what they've learned so far. From the first, let's know. Let them drop comments. Have they learned things? What is this for them? Day one of Gric Convention. What is it like for them? We like to know. What is it like for you? I mean, I need to know that all this wahala is not in vain. So let them tell us, audience, tell us, what have you learned? What has it been like for you? The experience, you know?
Okay, guys. So you've heard it. You've heard it. In one word. In one word, I would like you to just to describe how tonight has been for you. Has it been? Has it been like excellent? Has it been mind blowing? So just let us know. Just drop something in the comment section. I would like to read from you. Let us know how excited you are, how much values you're taking home tonight, and how much you're looking forward to continuing with us tomorrow. So let's see. I'm waiting to read. Who is going first? Who is going first? I'm waiting. I'm sure they are typing. I'm sure they're coming to do that now. If you can hear me, just type one thing. One thing is enough. Just one word to represent how tonight has been for you. Okay, somebody just said it's been a top-notch value-packed conference. Bravo. All right, that's Falua Date Mitope. Thank you so much, Falua Date Mitope. Yes, I want to read from the next person. How has tonight been? How has tonight been? What value have you gotten? What are you taking home? Okay, Fortunate Obot, thank you so much. Fortunate says, this exceeded my expectations. Yes, I'm so glad to read that. Thank you so much, Fortunate, for commenting. Yes, who is next? Sam Ayodele says, now I feel re-energized and fulfilled. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, who is next? Next person. Next person. Feel free. Feel free. Okay, while others are getting ready to tell us how tonight has benefited them, okay, finally we have Steven on board. We have Fee on board. We have Fee on board. So Fee, okay, so over to you now, Mrs. Gloria.
Okay, Fee. Fee actually knows what to do right now. I had to call him back. Fee, I'm so sorry. I had to call you back because I mean, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. I know you're a gentleman, but you needed to do what you're supposed to do. The audience want to know you more. They want to hear from you. They want to relate with you. So please go ahead. If you have any program, any product, this is the best time to sell it out to them right now. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Gloria. Thank you, Hadassah. You've been amazing. I was listening to your summary of my session, Hadassah, and I was like, I shall must take my notes at this time. I think you're doing really, really well. Just moderating this entire session. I've really enjoyed listening to the way you summarize each of the points. And thank you, Gloria, for hosting this. So yeah, so at the moment, I think
Thank you.
the major thing that I would want people to take advantage of is most likely my social media handles. I'm not actively having any product I'm promoting at the time, but there's a very high chance that I'm going to be having an accountability challenge in November that most of the people here, most of you can be a part of, right? So just follow me on Instagram at Fisteven, FIISTEPHEN. Follow me on Instagram, and you can always use that to get announcements when I am having maybe a launch or something that I want to do. But at this very moment, maybe just a challenge, and that's really it. But thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you to the entire team behind the scenes working hard. I know how it can be. There are people that I'm not even seeing that are doing really great work. So thank you to those behind the scenes that are working really hard to make sure that this is a success. Thank you to those on stage. It was great to be a part of this.
Okay, thank you so much, Stephen. I'm sure we've all heard what.
All right, thank you. Sweet Jesus, thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And that's how you can take on. And I think at this moment we should just dance and celebrate. Is there anyone writing anything? That's how you want to say something?
No, not at all. Is Mr. Nats not coming on board anymore?
No, he's not. He's not. He said he's not.
All right, then. So over to you as we just say goodbye to everyone then. So over to you.
Okay, so this is the song. Forever and ever again, his heart beats for you. So your character is more than gold, right? So this is a way to say thank you. I've got something more than gold. It's all I've got is Jesus. I've got something more than gold. I'll tell it to the world. Jesus is more than gold. Thank you so much, every one of you. Thank you. I love you. I love you. Yes, I wanted you to hear that. Your character, Jesus is more than gold, definitely. Your character is a gold. You need to keep polishing, right? Your lifestyle is a gold. You need to keep polishing. Your outfit is a gold. You need to keep polishing. Your values are gold that you need to keep polishing. And you cannot not polish your character. You cannot not polish your attitude. You cannot not polish the things that are going to put you before kings and queens. You've heard it from the three speakers. You've heard it from Abraham Inajo. You've heard it from him. He has told you so much. And you've also heard it from Fisteven. You've heard it from Bosede Olushola Obasa. You've heard so much. Tomorrow, you're going to be hearing, I'm going to be starting the session with my own training. And then you will hear so many others. We still have three more. We have Mo Oladakbo, who's going to be speaking to us tomorrow. We have Dr. Akanimo Odong, who's speaking to us tomorrow. We have Raymond Monid, who's speaking to us tomorrow. We have John Amilo. 4 more, plus me 5. Come on. Let's show up on time tomorrow and make sure that you come with your vibes to make this place lively. Invite others. Share the link. Invite others. And so that this, this labor will not be in vain. I want you to know that I love you, and we will continue to do all we can to give you the best value ever, ever, ever. Gric Polishing Castle has a course right now that is going on, and I will drop it in the WhatsApp group so you can get it. I'll give everyone the free opportunity to join that course on a discounted price. Thank you so much, everyone. I want to say I love you all. Do have a wonderful night rest. We'll see you tomorrow with hottest and undiluted values. Do have a wonderful night rest and be good. Bye.
Okay, I would like you all to say bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Have a great night. So see you all tomorrow.
It's such an honor that you've all been